I will spend some time on Penn State. Now, I waited to really talk about this. I don't know, on Monday and Tuesday, I said this is going to go much deeper than just one football coach, because I've seen this before. And I said the Texas Youth Commission, on record, even when the Texas Rangers found out about it and blew the whistle, it was covered up. And it's come out in state hearings that at youth commissions all over the state of Texas, it's all over the country too, they have children ages 6, 7, 8 up to 17, and that the parking lot fills full of the pedophile rings, police, judges, mayors, corporate people, and they go in and they have sex with the young prisoners. I mean, I've been in juvenile twice for fighting before they figured out I didn't start the fight because somebody was hurt. You go to jail. And of my 2 times, one time the guard tried to get me in the shower and said, come to the time for your shower. Said, take your clothes off, sitting there licking his lips. And I said, look, and he started reaching out at me. And I said, listen, you're not going to get away with this, pal. And he said, get back in your cell then. I mean, he thought I was just some little meek person that he was going to do this to. And I told him. They're in Terrell, Texas, up on top of that courthouse is where the juvenile was. I said, you're going to get, I told him, I said, you do this, my dad's going to kill you 100%. And of course, I would have done something as well. I mean, I was in there for beating somebody into a coma. And I'm sitting there looking at the guy, and I'm like, this isn't a joke, pal. That's what this country's run by. I keep telling you, it's run by pedophile rings. How many Republicans get caught in bathrooms with other men? They go to Bohemian Grove on record and have sex with each other. Vanity Fair snuck in there years after I did and found the same thing. People magazine. That's what goes on there. Richard Nixon told Harper's Magazine it's the most GD, faggy thing you'll ever see. You can pull up Richard Nixon on Bohemian Grove. Harper's got accused after he died of, back in the 70s interview, that they'd made up that because they didn't publish the rest of it until after he died. And they just said, oh, here's the audio of Nixon. Yeah, the Bohemian Grove. Yeah, they're at San Francisco and then up north of there. I'll tell you what goes on there. It's unbelievable. I went for political power, but it's terrible.
In a quest of the test, it's a feeling achievement. Everybody's always on it just to see themselves. But the fact that I'm mad that you just don't dead doesn't stand out open hand to anyone else. So you tell me your why, but you have to rely on trying to make me get confused about the USA. When the fact of my mind is that you just don't hear to comprehend or understand a single word I say. Mother, whatever, go get tired. Whatever, go get tired. Well, every day on. Sing a story, no fact to glory. I still don't like it, and I know I don't want it. Try again. Almighty watching, I again. And I still don't like it.
week. It's now coming out. It's confirmed. I have all the mainstream news admitting it, that the police knew back in the mid-90s. They knew all about it. Everybody was upset about it. Everybody knew. And here's the key when we come back. The degenerate students, the wholly wicked, and of course, I don't even like to judge these people, but they don't care about all these victims. They want their stupid coach back, who is an accessory. Nobody's saying he's an accessory. He knew about this decades ago and let it continue along with the head of the university. Say on Monday and Tuesday when people asked me about this and called in, I said, the Texas Youth Commission, it came out that they had gladiatorial fights with the older kids, with all the elitists coming in all over the state and watching them fight, in some cases with weapons in boxing rings. That was in the news, but then it all got shut down. And that government officials, big donors, rich people, judges. And see, what happens is once they know you're a pedophile and you've done this publicly with the elites, now they can promote you into the power structure because they know they can destroy you anytime they want. And it turns out the police knew about this more than 15 years ago. I have the timeline right here. And it turns out 9 years ago there was a grand jury dealing with this, and it was always shut down until now. This is being brought out now to threaten the entire power structure, just like the Herman Cain thing. They always give you sex scandals and missing, dead interns and all of this right before wars. As a huge distraction, tailor-made. They've got all these sex scandals right there. They kept it quiet. as the victims continue to mount. And who was it? Disadvantaged children getting to go to the Penn State with the coaches who were going to mentor them. And now what's the new reports? That the coach, who all these people say they witnessed doing this, Sandusky, headline, Drudge is linking to it, pimped out young boys to rich donors. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't just think he was brazenly in there, allegedly. But there's all these police reports, all this stuff going way back, and the cover-up's clear. In there, in the shower, in a quasi-public area doing this on his own. You think the feds pay for a decade to put cameras in school bathrooms and in girls' showers? And they with a straight face go, well, we're the government. We can watch your naked daughters. And they share it all over the country. That's come out in the news. This, at the top, it's a bunch of criminals. And the most common group is pedophiles. Then it's closeted gay men, so they can use that on them. Then it's just hardcore sadists, and then just mercenaries that want money. But it is a legion of evil. looking at what's happening in Iran, busy looking at what's happening economically. Everybody who researches what's happening in the world is really freaked out right now. Everybody feels a disturbance in the force, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, or as the Bible would say, a disturbance in the spirit. My discernment is just, alarm bells are going off. And always they have these type of scandals that are brought forward and triggered. So you got to ask yourself, well, A, I'm going to cover this because it illustrates the way the world really works on so many points of the compass. It's a window into the real world, into denial, into powerful groups, into cover-ups, into group psychology, into tribalism, into media, and into why has it been triggered now. I have the timeline here. It goes back to 1994 at least. And it turns out the police knew as of 1998, and the university pressured them. The reporters all got threatened. I mean, this is all in the news now. And they were able to cover up, and this guy was able to continue. And here's an even bigger issue. I am hearing sports writers, because I've been following this now more closely the last few days because it's such an incredible window into how the real world works, as I just said. They're actually saying we've got to continue the season. We have, the coach shouldn't have been fired, the head coach, and this big mob, I'll play a clip in a minute, of students saying, bring back the coach one more game. They're not even worried about the fact that there's a university, all of their board should be gone that was part of this. The president, it's not enough. All of them. All of the coaches, undoubtedly. I mean, listen, if I was a coach and I walked into the shower and I saw somebody raping a 10-year-old child, number one, I would stomp the living hell out of them, excuse me. I mean, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, who wouldn't? I'm not some macho guy. It's clobbering time. That guy's going to have a broken jaw and his nose is going to be hanging off. I'm going to have blood coming out of my fist. I'm going to be hitting him so hard I'm splitting my knuckles. So I don't understand it. I mean, I walk into a shower, somebody's got a 10-year-old bent over, raping them. I mean, I am going to stomp the daylights out of you. I am going to, I mean, I'd be uncontrolled. I guarantee you, once I got you on the ground, you're going to get stomps. I mean, you're going to get stomped. Stomped from the feet right up to the head, like a kangaroo. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah, you're probably not going to live. And so the issue here is that's what my instinct says. That's my gut. I walk around a corner into a shower and somebody's raping a kid, you're going to be lucky if I don't kill you. Okay? But the fact that for, I don't know, what's 94 to 2011? How many, is that 16 years? 17 years? How long is it? 17 years. And this shows how corruption works. How in mobs of people, I'm sure a very small percentage of them were involved in the raping of children. But they knew, and then for the system, they cover it up. And that's how the big mega banks work, stealing tens of trillions. That's how derivatives work. That's how this plausible deniability works. That's how this corruption works, where the average citizen doesn't put their inspection sticker on a half-inch to the right spot. You get the book thrown at you. Or citizens do things that really aren't even illegal, but are regulatory, go to jail. And the system throws the book at us, microphones in the lamps post, listening to us, face-scanning cameras, total corruption, and the Attorney General's on record perjuring himself about shipping guns into Mexico and bringing drugs into the U.S., and Janet Napolitano's been caught doing it. They've all been caught doing it. And I understand people who aren't evil find this hard to believe because you're naive. Good people have a blind spot. Believe me. I had a blind spot when I was 11 years old and got off the bus, and the cool 14, 15-year-old said, hey, come play in the fort with us in the woods, and then beat the living snot out of me. Let's see, I had a wake-up call. I thought all the cops were the best people in the world growing up till I saw cops dealing drugs where I grew up. But you got to grow up sometime. You know what I mean? Because being naive, thinking it's cool to be naive, behaving like that is what allows a Nazi Germany or a Soviet Russia or a communist China or an authoritarian Pol Pot or Ceausescu or any of these scum. People think they can decide to not believe something. I have people tell me that all the time. Intelligent people, they go, I choose not to believe that. And I go, but look at the facts. I'm not looking at it. I hear what you're saying. I just can't believe that.
resign yourself to your fate. And I believe that if it's written in the stars, that's fine. I can't be denied the time of somewhere in the darkness, in the nighttime, in the storm, in the casino Spanish. And I believe, no, I can't believe that every time you hear a newborn scream, just can't see the shaping of the line, the shaping of the line.
And people always go, he was such a nice old man when they find 25 bodies buried in their basement. Or she was such a nice lady when they find, you know, dead kids buried in her basement or whatever. People can't ever believe this. And when you get a big institution like a university, when you get a big institution like a big church, or international church, or you get a big institution like the Boy Scouts, or a big institution like the state police, or a big institution like the local police, or a big institution like a college, or the federal government, you create a system where smart criminals and deviants know they can get away with things, because once they have power in that position, people are scared to go after them. They can corrupt other people by just letting them know about it, and then now they're accessories. And they know that the system is geared towards defending that power structure. And we've got this video clip. When I saw this last night, I was driving home at about 10 o'clock, and I heard it on the radio on XM. And I got home, and I went online and found the clip. It was on CNN. Then I went over to ESPN to see the full other more expanded coverage online. And there was people basically at the verge of rioting, screaming, "You've got to bring back Joe Paterno. You've got to let him finish the season." And then this morning, driving in, I'm listening to press conferences on MSNBC, and they've all with hushed breath, "Is the game's going to continue? You're not going to cancel? Oh, my God, how are the team handling this?" Who cares about the team? Who cares about stupid football? You see, this is why we're so sick. People care so much about games. They don't care about little kids getting raped. They care so much about all these things we've been trained to put our self-image, our worth, our identity into that don't matter. I mean, look at it. It's some old man, 84 years old, all about him and, oh my gosh, what his career and all this, and what's going to happen to the team, what's going to happen to Penn State, oh my gosh, the donors. It's sycophantic what we have become as a culture. And of course, reports are going to come out about donors in there. Anyone who is reportedly, and the evidence is overwhelming, reportedly raping children in a field house bathroom. This is what these psychos do. In criminology, when they get in these positions of power, they do it more and more out in the open. More and more in your face. That's why psychos taunt the police about their next crime and how the police are stupid. They want to be caught subconsciously. They want to flaunt what they're doing. It's all about the ego trip. And of course, he was so confident, he was reportedly over 17 years doing this, knowing the school was going to cover it up. Knowing that the minute the head coach didn't go to the police, the minute the president of the university didn't go to the police, he had them as accessories. And I'm sure it goes much deeper than that. And I said earlier in the week, this is probably going to be like the Texas Youth Commission, where good men in the Texas Rangers found out that a bunch of pedophiles work at these facilities and were even bringing their friends in. And they tried to stop it, and they tried to suppress the Texas Rangers. They leaked it. The head of the state police leaked it. And you saw the legislature got rid of the head of the state police in Texas. And the state police 10 years ago were nice, were friendly, wouldn't violate your rights. Now they love to come over to you in many areas, especially the Capitol, treat you like a piece of trash. The whole culture's changed because the state perverts in the legislature, I went down there and bullhorned them during the storming the TSA thing and said, I know a bunch of you are pedophiles and perverts that are being blackmailed. I went into Perry's office and said, these are the reports, these are the rumors. And that, is that why you won't stand up for what's right? Perry is having a meltdown right now. He can't even hardly talk. It's not just at that debate last night. Jaron noticed it last week and played me the clips where he doesn't even know who he is. My gut tells me that he's on a bunch of medication. He looks different than he looked just 6 months ago. And that people are threatening to bring stuff out on him. And I think he's been told it's going to be brought out. Just as something to throw on the fire as well. Oh, we got Paterno over here in Penn State. We got Herman Cain. We got Rick Perry. All of this before the system gets ready to hit Iran. And certain elements that want to hit Iran are saying, you see what we're doing at Penn State and with Herman Cain. You saw what we did with the Democratic governor in New York who passed a law to take John's assets while he was visiting hookers almost every night. We got all of you under surveillance, and if you got any dirt under your fingernails, it's coming out. Comprende? 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 Comprende. You get it? You comprehend it? Do you understand it? I know I do. I know exactly what's going on here. I know exactly why Rick Perry looks like he's been run over by a truck. I know exactly. I mean, that's what he looks like. Wile E. Coyote after a rock's fallen on him. He's been flattened and he gets up with stars around his head. Because when you're nothing but a narcissist built up on your image and you don't care about humanity, you're not tied into God, you're not tied into love, you're not tied into honor. When you're a political whore, and you stop going up that golden staircase towards what you believe is heaven, and you start seeing your fortunes fall, you have nothing. The wicked flee when none pursue. So, for all of you out there that wonder about conspiracies and wondered about corruption and wonder about evil, here's another example of how they kept the Manhattan Project secret for 5 years with hundreds of thousands involved. How they kept Gulf of Tonkin secret that it was a staged government event for 40 years. How they kept the Tuskegee experiment shooting black men up with syphilis secret for 40 years. They decided to tell you. How all this stuff, they just throw it in your face. Operation Northwoods was kept secret for decades. And this was known by the FBI, by the state police, by the grand juries since the mid-90s, and was in grand jury in 2002. This was known. This was known and never in the national news because it wasn't time to bring it out right now. Congress is being told you will destroy your political careers, you will let the super Congress bankrupt America, you will bring in the world government, you will set up the TSA checkpoints, or we know about that cocktail waitress you dated 20 years ago Congressman, and we're going to bring up the photos and everything to your wife, and we got her ready to come forward. Here's the photographs. But that's the ones that aren't that bad. There's very few like Ron Paul who've done nothing. So then who lived really pious lives. Then they go to others and they say, you like to go to those parties with the 5-year-olds? You like to get those videos, the snuff film videos? Senator, you do exactly what we say, or this is going to be released right now. And don't think we won't do it. Look at our other operations. Hey, back when you were in Congress, that intern died in your office. Don't worry. Come to work for us, and we'll take care of you. We'll give you a job on MSNBC. Hey, Gov, we know a lot more than just about your hookers. You want a job on MSNBC? Hey, you can join us or we'll destroy you. How's that sound? Okay? Now steal all the pension funds. We'll be right back. So, Joe Paterno, the icon of goodness and wholesomeness since the mid-1990s, was told by the head of the university and others to keep his mouth shut about what was happening, and the raping of children reportedly continued. You couldn't get me to shut up about that for $80 trillion. My soul, there's no price tag on it. And people are like, wow, that's really moral of you. Would you sell your eyes for $1 million and be blind? Most people wouldn't. Only morons would. Well, if the eyes are so precious, they're just windows of the soul. What about your very being? What about who you are? I mean, I get guilty about eating too much, and every once in a while, if I slam my finger in a door using profanity, because I want to be a good person, because I know I'm a fallen creature. But I can't imagine these people that could know such evils are going on, and to watch these students sign themselves on to the evil. They're young, they don't know, but they are certainly on a path of wickedness. And it shows how divorced from reality they are, that they ran around in a near riot for hours, the Associated Press reports. We have a video clip of it, demanding that the coach be brought back. And I mean, this is insane. Out of respect to the families, out of the fact that we don't know how high this cover-up goes. Now they're reporting that donors may be involved, you know, with the kids being hired out. Of course, they had all these charity events for kids. How many times you hear about the charity head for kids programs being a pedophile? Where do you think they go? How many truancy officers turn out being pedophiles? How many school teachers? Look, how many Boy Scout leaders? Boy Scouts are one of the best things in America. It's great. It's Americana. But you got to be honest about who wants to go try to take it over. And you got to route this stuff out. That this is a modern sickness. And they're trying to sexualize our children as young as 5 years of age in the public schools and teach them about sex, period. It's wrong. It's wrong. And it's all sold as people's civil rights. It is pure evil. And that's why you're going to see more and more of this. Because we have a demonic, pedophile, sex cult at every level of this government. I've studied it. I'm going to do a report on it tonight, 7 o'clock, with a bunch of examples. PrisonPlanet.tv. We'll air the report tomorrow here as well. So I'm going to do it live tonight, and they're getting all the stuff together right now to really show you the full spectrum of this. Well, I tell you, if that was a couple thousand people peacefully trying to assemble just to talk about freedom, they'd have riot cops there shotgunning them with rubber bullets. Hi, officer. Don't we have a First Amendment? Boom! But you want to go out and say, give us our football game. Oh, man, yeah, a football coach. People are questioning whether he should have lost the rest of the season. Of course he should be. He should be indicted as an accessory and an accomplice to the original crimes and the ongoing crimes, and so should every one of the university officials involved. But don't hold your breath, because not in the Texas Youth Commission, not in the Vatican, not anywhere. This world is ruled by pot-bellied pedophiles.
Whoa, na 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 na.
justified and they're ancient. I hope you understand. They don't want to upset the apple cart, and they don't want to cause any harm. But if you don't like what they're going to do, you better not stop them, 'cause they're coming through. They're justified and they're ancient, and they know what time is love. They're justified and they're ancient. Did they come from up above? Rockman, he's just made of bricks, and King Boy lost his screws. The jams don't need no master plan to do whatever they can do. Na 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 na. Justified and they're ancient, and they like to roam the land. They justified and they're ancient. I hope you understand. They don't want to upset the apple cart, and they don't want to cause any harm. But if you don't like what they're going to do, you better not stop them, 'cause they're coming through. They're justified and they're ancient, and they know what time is love. They're justified and they're ancient. Did they come from up above? Rockman, he's just made of bricks, and King Boy lost his screws. The jams don't need no master plan to do whatever